Okay, we are going into our third session. We continue on. Probably we have a total of like 5 to 6 sessions. Right now we are on our third, and so we're focusing on the 10 things that a new UFO come in must do, and we're focusing on the fifth and the sixth, and which is building your name list and also learn how to talk in themes. So we're going to be going a little bit more in detail. So take a look at building a name list. In the past, we have some partners, and they come up with a list of like 5, 6 people, and then they try to contact or invite a couple of them, and they got rejected. And from then on, they just sit there and they don't do anything, because since they have 5 or 6 name lists and 2 to 3 rejected, it was like 50% fail. And so they are very treasure the other 2, 3. So they're not making a move from then on. And so it's because they have a what we call a chicken list. It's a list with too few of a name. And so in order to do this business correctly, what we needed to do is that first to build a 60 to 200 names. For a lot of people at first, if you tell them that they have to build a 60 to 200 names, the first reaction is that, no, I don't know that many people. So that we have to step in to help them to go from what we call a jogging memory jogger to help them to dig out the people they know. Of course, to a lot of people, that when they write the list, and they already screen their friends, family members, and so on. So instead of they write down every single name, they would think about, oh, this one is fit for the business, that one is too rich, that one is too poor, this one's too skinny, that one's too fat. That's not how we build a name list. And the name list is just a name. And so you can dig out these names from your friend circle, your family, neighbors, teammates, high school, college, classmates, any organization you participated, going to church, any kind of group you belong to, your working co-workers, and from the social media. So what you do is that you go through all these channels, and to find out whoever you know. You might not know their full name, as long as you know Steve, Mr. Who, doesn't matter. My neighbor next door, you don't know their name. So all you have to do is to identify there is such person. And the only thing that you might not be able to write them down is that you knew them, but you don't know where to find them. And that's not on your list. Okay, and so it's very important to, number one, to have your initial list, and because I mean your possibility is everywhere, and then continue on. You are still putting names on this list according to every day, your daily activity, where you go to, who you contact with, and you just like continue on putting their name on this name list. And for example, in Hong Kong, when you go taking a subway, and you pass by some street corner and you find out somebody is handing you a card from Citibank asking you to open account. Well, his card has his name and phone number, okay? And you pass another street corner and you find out PCCW, and the guy is asking you for Wi-Fi or broadband, and that's a person or name or phone number there, okay? And so what you do is basically is that every single day who you contact, and those contact was not on your list, you put it down. So subsequently, your name list, it gets longer, longer, longer. Imagine if you do that, 2 names added to your list 5 days a week. So you should have 56, like 28 days in a month, working days, or maybe 20 days, and 2 a day, so you got 40 more. And of course, you can always go to Facebook to add people, social media, Instagram, so on and so forth. So after we build this name list, what you needed to do is that we understand that we don't have that much time to approach every single person. So what we do is that we prioritize our list. And so after you prioritize, and you will come up with a top 10 list. So let's say if you want to do this business, you're looking for a partner, who in this list of 60 to 200 people that you think it would be the best helping you to do the business, and also you are helping them to establish their own business. Who are these 10 people? And later on, we have a criteria to kind of like evaluate them, okay? Continue building relationship with everyone on your list. So let's say if you have an old classmate on your list, and which you haven't in contact with him or her for 3 years, and now his or her name is on your list. What do? Just call them and ask them if they want to do shop.com? No, that's not how you do it, okay? What you do is that you call them and say, darn, I mean, for the last few years, I mean, we got all busy, so we haven't catch up for a long time. When is the best time to come out for a lunch, coffee break, and so on and so forth to catch up? And so you might not have to talk anything about shop.com. Of course, if the timing is right and he's asking you what you do lately, and you say, oh yeah, I'm still doing the same job, but recently I have expanded my business into internet marketing, okay? But not to a point that he or she feels that you are approaching them. You just basically inform them that what you do, because otherwise on the first meeting after a few years, and then you'll make them feel that the purpose of this meeting is you approach them, and then they might get defended. But it may not be always the case. So happen if this person has situation change and he or she is looking for opportunity, maybe that's a good timing. That's why we need to constantly go out to see people and to see if their timing is right, they are situation changed, their kids grow up, going to college, they need college fund, and so on and so forth. Okay, here's how we qualify a list. So let's say you have these people and this name list, and you want to find out if they are fit for the business. Although we are not fortune telling them, but there are still some criteria, some quality that we still want to find from these people. Number one is that do they have sales and service experience? Are their line of work involved with sales, such as insurance agent, real estate broker or agent? Are they in purchasing for the company? Are they in the retail industry? So they come in contact with new people all the time. Let's say if somebody behind the counter, and day in and day out, people ask them, he or she is trying to sell product to the customers. So that's kind of sales. They are willing to talk to people, and they are not afraid of talking to strangers. Okay, that is an advantage in terms of doing this business. Secondly, these people involved with teaching, training, coaching. Somebody is teaching people how to do things, including business owners. Let's say if this business owner has 10, 20 people, well, he might be the trainer to tell the employee what to do. And so a lot of time, if somebody is an entrepreneur, he or she probably is a sales and is a coach or trainer. Okay, and the reason we need these teacher training and trainer or coach is because this particular business is all about teaching people how to do what you do. So by having that teaching skill, that would help you to do this business. And number third, which is if somebody is an entrepreneur, has a business experience, and used to own a business and things like that, because I mean, after all, shop.com still is a business. So if people have a prior business experience, they are very quickly can adapt to shop.com business. Where if somebody is an employee, it might take them a little bit longer time to get used to shop.com as a business. They become a business owner, okay? And so it would be quicker for the entrepreneur to adapt to shop.com business. And number four, if somebody has a good attitude, which they have a positive attitude towards everything they do, their job, their relationship with people, and also towards their task. Okay, if you give them a responsibility and they take on it and they get it done with and with a sense of pride. I mean, if you know people are like this, especially your coworkers, your family members, and you know that somebody have this quality that they are fit to do this business. And also people magnet. Sometimes you will see that in anywhere there are a group of people, it's always that one or two people are talking, everybody is listening, because these people are called the center of influence. And we need them because once we show the business to them or convince them about the potential of shop.com, they would go to their group to talk to people, and most likely people listen to them because they build the credential in the past. Okay, and number fifth is money. People who had it, or people who have had it and lost it, and which people really do looking forward to come back. Okay, and well, number one, people who have money, which means that they know how to make money and they work hard on it, or they're smart, they have a sense of opportunity. And sometimes people used to have it, but for some reason that their business go bankrupt and or the trend is not there anymore, so they want to come back. So they have to try to make it happen again. So those people are the one we want. And also the last one is that people have prior networking experience. They used to do direct sales, networking, multi-level marketing, which means that they believe this type of business and they don't have rejection in this type of business. So it will be easier and shorten the time that they get into shop.com. Okay, so knowing these 6 criteria, how to qualify your people. So what we need is that we need to start our exercise. Okay, most of you supposed to see this list because that's our name list. Okay, and if you haven't, all you have to do is that you go to our Box account, and hopefully by now you should get the access information to go to Box account. Once you go to Box account, and the first thing you do is that to go to Market America, I'm trying to make all the title with English, and then you go to common files, and you go to new partner folder, and you look for possibility list. If you are Chinese, you prefer to use the Chinese one, and it's called 潛在人選名單. Okay, so either way it works fine. It's same format, it's just in Chinese and English. Okay, here's what we need to do, and that's our homework. That's this week's homework. So what you need to do is you download this form. On each page, there are 20 names. And so you should definitely print out about at least five pages. Okay, the first thing you do, here's the instruction. Keep the instruction correctly in order, because if you don't, you're just wasting time. Okay, first thing to do is, oh, I misspelled name. Okay, how about that? N-A-M-W. Okay, how can that be? Okay, name. First thing to do is that you write down a bunch of names. Whoever comes in mind, whoever that shows up on your cell phone, you just write down the name. Just ignore all the information. Just write down name. If you haven't write down 60 names, don't work on anything else. So your objective is to come up with 60 to 100 names. That's the first thing. Without doing that, don't start any other information. Okay. Number two is that after you get the name 60 to 100, jump to STEAM immediately. Forget about age, marital status, phone number, forget about those. You jump into the STEAM. Are they sales? Are they teacher? Are they entrepreneur? Do they have good attitude? And are they money-wise? They are okay. Okay. So what you do is that to the best of your knowledge and understanding, and you rate these people. So let's say I got Mr. Chen as number one. Okay. Is Mr. Chen has any sales experience? If yes, put a check mark. Or you do anything to identify. You can put a 0 there. You put a cross there. It doesn't matter. Okay. As long as we want to find out they have this kind of quality. Are they in teacher coaching, helping out, or organization, things like that. And number three, are they entrepreneur? If they are entrepreneur, most likely they are good in sales by default. And sometimes they can be a good coach if they have employees. If they have 3 to 5 employees, they definitely have to tell the employee what to do, and well, they become a coach. Okay. Okay. And number 4 is attitude. By you interact with them, do you think that this person, or by your observation, is this person has the center of influence? Is that they have the people magnet quality, or when they do things, they do it from the beginning to the end. They have good quality. When you talk to them, they are always positive. They don't complain too much, or they don't complain at all. So you see if they have some kind of positive attitude that you want to be partnered with. And the fourth one is that are they okay in terms of finance? Okay, or sometimes you know that they used to be a business owner, and now they're working due to some economic downturn. Okay, and so they always want to make a comeback, and they want to work on it. Okay, so according to your best of knowledge, you just check whichever quality you have. Okay, so once you check them, the first thing to do is that, let's say if you check 60 to 100 names, after you check them, the first thing you do is that get a highlighter, or you have a red pen or whatever, and you just highlight the person who has 4 to 5 quality of these 5 qualities. On this particular list, we did not put the prior networking experience because that can be a pro or cons. And sometimes people who have the prior experience, it would be very hard to convert to shop.com because shop.com is very unique. And so I would rather to lead a person who has no prior MLM or networking experience, so I can teach them from scratch, rather than I have to erase their prior, so-called prior experience. And sometimes this prior experience is not a good thing. And so after you got these people and evaluated, and you just highlight the one who has the 4 to 5 quality. And if somehow your circle of people have very few with 4 to 5 of this quality, and you just lowered it to 3. So 3, 4, 5. So you highlight it. And once you highlight it and you do a count, and so let's say if you have 60 names and you highlighted 3 to 4 and 5 quality of these people, and you count them, these are pretty much 20% of the 60 people. And that's why we say in this world there is a 20-80 rule. That's exactly the people that you know, 20% of people make the 80% of outcome, and 80% of people make the 20% of outcome. Okay, and so once you do that, you know exactly these 20% of people are what you are looking for. And then we start to try to get to know them. If people you haven't met for a long time, while making a phone call, tell them that, wow, everybody is getting busy. So the next thing you know that we haven't seen each other for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And whenever we can catch up for a cup of coffee or lunch or dim sum, okay? And so that's what you can do, okay? And the second thing that we can narrow this list down, if your list is too long and it's by age, we understand that people have needs. Different when they are in different age, they have different needs. But in terms of what we look for them to do shop.com, we want to find people who have the stronger desire, which is the 35 to 55 year old people, because they probably have family, kids. And for people who are in 55, 50, they're looking for retirement. Okay, and it's all involved with money, or the desire of making more money. And plus, with this group of people, they have more life experience, because dealing with the business with shop.com, sometimes, I mean, quite often, if not all the time, you have to deal with people. You have to deal with situation. So by having life experience, that counts. With this age group of people, pretty much they have saving on hand. So if they need to take some money to do business, they can afford it. If you're talking about a 20-year-old kid, it's hard for them to come up with the money sometimes, especially going to convention, going to product training, things like that, okay? And so what you do is that you, to the best of your knowledge, you just go down the age list and to put whatever you think this person's age is, and put every single one of them on your 60 name list. So after you put them, whoever who falls into that particular 35 to 55, you use a highliner to mark that. And so that narrows a little bit from your STEAM criteria. And so you narrow that to maybe 15%. And the last one you can do is the opposite gender. Let's say if you're female, you want to find a male partner, because a lot of time male and female has different perspectives to look at things. So within your organization, if you have men and women working together, a lot of time when we have to make decisions, we make a much better decision than just a group of women or group of men, because you take the advantage of the both genders. Okay, so you mark down these 60 names of their gender, and then that probably come up to the top 10%. So if you have a 60 name list, you should have 6 people who fall into the opposite gender, 35 to 55 years old, and also have 3, 4, 5 of the 5 quality of esteem. And those 6 people or more are what you needed to make the phone call, make the appointment, come together, meet them, get to know their current status, and then invite them to the shop.com event. That's how we narrow it down. And if we don't do that, your business in shop.com would be hauled much later. It would be deferred, because meeting people and find out what they need and also invite them to evaluate the business, it is the very first thing you do. Not to mention they sign up and they whatever. I mean, they have to know what you do before they committed to sign up. And so what we found over the years, a lot of time, people are just stuck there. They are not moving in the business. It's because they haven't done these fundamental steps. So coming in this week, so your job, I know Johanna has the list, and because we were working on it. So for the rest, you have to come up with this name list. If you do have trouble doing it yourself, always ask your senior partner to sit down with you. But before then, you have to print out this list or have your senior partner to print it out for you. At least prepare to write down 60 to 100 names. And you definitely can do that. I mean, we have a way of helping you to come up with that name list. Okay, so by next week, we're gonna be talk about a little bit of your name list. So by next Monday, we have the meeting on Tuesday, right? By next Monday, you should have your name list, at least 60 names, and do the evaluation. And you use your cell phone and snapshot and post it onto the group. And so when we started next Tuesday, what we do is that we actually go into your name list and look at how you do, and we give you suggestions on how to invite those people, how to call those people, and when you call them out, what to say, and we'll just coach you step by step. So definitely you want to work on this name list this week. Okay. Now moving on to the last slide of today is that now you already have a name list, evaluate them, and you identify the few names, the 10%, the 15% as your objective potential. Okay, so when we meet them, when we call them, what do we say? Here we have a way of helping you to talk in themes, because we don't know each person, their desire, their needs and wants. We don't know them. So we need to talk to them and find out what they are up to, what their objective is. And so we kind of prepare ourselves just in order that they say one thing and we reply in that regard. Instead of they say one thing, we reply differently. Okay, and so on the list here, I mean, it's about 18 different themes that we need to learn how to talk with them. Let's say I am talking to a 55-year-old friend, And so happened we're talking about it, and in general, he's happy with his job, his family, everything. And so I don't seem to find out I have his needs. But since it's age of 55, he's about 10 years away from retirement. What I might do is that I'm just asking some question about if he's fully prepared for his retirement. And I would say, wow, you've been working for this job for so long. You must got a very good pension plan to have a comfortable retirement income. Well, we understand in Hong Kong, very, very few jobs have pension plan, especially the newer jobs. Unless in the old days that you work for the government or from big corporation, you might, but otherwise you don't. You just rely on your life saving, but you don't know how long you live, right? And so you just raise a question, and then they said, no, 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 we don't have pension plan. We'll just rely on MPF, but MPF sucks. Every year they lose money. So, I mean, I've been paying MPF for like 10, 15, 20 years, and now it doesn't accumulate that much. So, yeah, I'm worried about, I mean, my income when I retire. And so once they express that they do have concern about that particular topic, and then we'll talk about that. You know what? I used to be in your same shoes. I mean, in Hong Kong, we don't have a retirement plan, and MPF is a joke. And so I was worried about it. And a year ago, somebody introduced me a shop.com, which is as a backup plan. So after I evaluated, and I think, well, it's a part-time opportunity. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money, but that would give me a opportunity as a backup plan as my retirement income. So I am putting a few hours a week to fund or to work on this particular business opportunity, and I got a sense of security. That's called how to talk in themes. And if you talk to a 20-year-old and you use the same theme, do you think it's working? No, it doesn't, because he has 45 years to face retirement. He's not concerned about retirement at all. And so what do they need? Well, maybe extra income is what they are interested in, or having more time to travel. And so what you do is that you talk to them and you find out what their needs and wants, and then you pick out that particular theme to kind of hit them with what they want. And so once they find out they have an interest in it, and it would be a lot easier to talk to them about shop.com. Okay, and for some people, maybe for example, for housewife, and so happen you're talking to a housewife. We know some characteristic of housewife. Okay, they're very busy with kids, and their husband is working, and especially their kids going into middle school and high school, they are home alone a lot of time, and they want to have a social circle. And so you're raising the point of making friends. Yeah. Well, have you considered of doing something on the side that have flexible hours, being your own boss, and then at the same time you have a chance of making a lot of friends? Maybe that's what they want. Okay. If you talk to a person who's really insecure, very shy, well, how about personal growth? I mean, I totally understand your situation because I was in the same situation. But after I participate in this shop.com and knowing a bunch of people, I mean, I learned how to use social media. I learned how to use a lot of high-tech device, and also associate with a group of people. And now I'm not shy anymore, and I know my self-value and so on. And so you just direct them to what they want. Okay, residual income, passive income, again, most people are making active income. The minute they stop working, their income stop coming. So that's how I found out that shop.com provides an opportunity. Not only I can make passive income, and also I can make residual income, and furthermore, I can pass this income source to my next generation. Okay, and if you bump into somebody who's doing business, and especially they own, let's say, a 7-Eleven or franchise, and you bring up the issue of, oh, I own a couple of unfranchises. They said, what the heck is unfranchises? I heard of franchise, but I've never heard of an unfranchise. Oh yeah, the business model we have is like a franchise. All the advantage of franchise we have in our business model, for example, systemize, unify, the company has its own system, systematic, and I mean, people teach you what to do. We have a so-called proven business plan, but unlike a franchise, it doesn't cost a lot of money to start. It doesn't have monthly royalty. It doesn't lock into a particular location. So that's why I like the unfranchise. So it's because different themes that you talk to people, and then they got attracted by what you tell them, and then they are willing to spend time to evaluate shop.com. So the next thing you do, you invite your senior partner to do a 2-on-1, or you bring them to a HBP or UBP, or our product trainings, basic 5, NUOT. Any of these training would help you to let that person to understand a little bit more about our business plan, and to a point that they feel comfortable, they make the decision to start a business. And that's how we get started. So homework, download the name list, and also to make it easy for you guys, I'll send in 2 links, one Chinese, one English, and you download the list and you start working on it. And for Johanna, you already got a list. I don't remember if you have 60 names or more, but continue putting new names onto the list. And at the same time, when we get a chance, we'll sit down and take out this name list and work on that and invite more people. And then I'm sure that your organization will grow from there. Okay, that concludes our session this time, and I'll stop the recording, and then we'll just go into a Q&A session.